Here for the Cold Hard Truth on Sports. I am your host, Matthew Long. What episode? Did you get the episode up? 200 and something. Killing it. So we are looking to. We're looking to add some people on to our programming and as contributors for writing. Just talking with some of the partners this week regarding that, and we've made the decision to move forward with adding some of the others to the group in different capacities. So if anyone is interested, or if they have a passion for sports, sports broadcasting, anything in that realm, email to thechtonsports@gmail.com. All right. Please, serious people that are seriously interested only. And for those of you who have questions, is it paid? No, it is not paid. But there are some other opportunities if revenue producing is what you're looking for. So we can definitely get into those, and I definitely will have those conversations with the parties that are interested in that as well. So definitely, if you're interested in writing or radio, definitely email. You can put it attention to me, but make sure in your header you put in there, count me in, or put me in, coach. Something to that effect. So this way it pops, because if it just says resume, I get tons of resumes for lots of things. Make it something to the effect of I'm in, or put me in, coach, or something to that effect. So it pops out in my search and in my inbox. So when I go in there to check those things, I am able to see the email. So again, editors, writers, videographers, photographers, personalities, individuals that like doing editing. Maybe you don't want to write. Maybe you don't want to. You don't necessarily want to be a voice, but you like going in and you like doing video editing or Photoshop, stuff like that. I mean, we need all kinds of people. We're pushing outside of where we've been over the last few years, and the show has been growing. We are now syndicated on several different networks. Some of you are listening live, as you have since 2012 over on Blog Talk Radio. Others of you are listening over on the Spreaker app. Some of you are listening on iTunes. Some of you are on YouTube. Some of you are on iTunes or SoundCloud. I mean, we're on a lot of different channels. The show has been syndicated for a little while now, and we have been working diligently to try to improve the product that we put out. As you know, the Cold Hard Truth on Sports is what we're looking for. Again, I get questions. Hey Matt, what is the Cold Hard Truth? What is the Cold Hard Truth on Sports? Is that some sort of arrogant way of saying the truth, or you're the end all be all? No, not at all. I'm not saying that by any means of the imagination. I do have my opinion, and my opinions are based on facts and research. Sometimes it's a hunch, sometimes it's just feeling. But if it changes to some sort of degree, I'll let you know. If it's a source that tells me something, I will tell you that a source told me this. So it won't be any sort of a confusing sort of arrangement. So I wouldn't expect that anybody be too confused with what I provide or what I say. So, but anybody, I bring people on and I want to hear your truth. What do you deem to be the truth? What's your cold hard truth? I kind of put it that way to help better understand it. Because again, at the end of the day, we're all driven and we all understand life and see life through the lenses that experience has created for us to see through. Some it's been our own experience. Some it's the wisdom and experience from others around us. We've been able to learn from other people. But at the end of the day, those are the lenses that we see life through. And the way we see life is what is deemed to be our truth. So it's not for me to say people are there's necessarily one way to skin a cat, because there isn't. I have my information and I share my information, and I'm not wrong a lot, but I'm wrong and I'm fine with that. So if you want to ever contribute to the show, again, the number to call in 347-237-5539. 347-237-5539 is the number to call in to the show. And that's this show every Tuesday night from 8:30 to 10:30. And we have our sister show, Take This L, on Wednesdays from 8:30 to 10:30. We have a show on Sunday, The Boxing Source. It's hosted by James Bell from 7:30 to 9:30. So several shows on the network. We also have a podcast that is Take It. It's To the Half that I host. And then we have another podcast I'll be hosting here pretty soon as well, is Drive the Lane. So it's another podcast that we're going to be doing as well. So we're trying to mix it up, get more different content in different ways. Again, this is a 2 to 3 hour show, depending on the week. It'll always be 2 hours live and then an hour of overtime. Sometimes it's available live over on Spreaker. Sometimes we just have it available on YouTube. It all depends. It depends on the week. So, I'm going to get into some of what we got going on here this week. So in about 20 minutes or so, Rob Parks Jr. He is a contributor for TMZ Sports, and he writes for RealSports101. He'll be joining me to talk basketball. I think I'll have him for nearly an hour. So that'll be good. I always love having him on. He's a star, you know. Getting some messages in here now. Why are people clowning already? Hey, that's fine. If you want to hit me up, you know, I don't mind. I don't mind this. I check it during the show, throughout the show. Again, my handles are @MattLongSports, so on Facebook or Twitter. Facebook's up more readily for me. I got it in front of me here and on the phone and on my mobile, so I can get in both ways. I get it both ways. Twitter, there's a lot of tweets going on, so I don't necessarily have the...
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important...
It appears that the host has already dialed into this show.
I'm not sure what that's all about. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was all about, but interesting. But we will have...
You are now in the host queue.
Okay. All right, not sure what the deal is with that, but a little bit of technical difficulty there from some weird random stuff from Blog Talk. That comes every now and then. Again, when you're dealing with technology, nothing's going to be perfect. So, but we're working to always expand more. We're still in talks and with moving on to the TuneIn Radio app as well as iHeartRadio. So there's several different avenues and stuff that we will continue to look out for and continue to venture into. So the Olympics, aren't far off for the summer. Again, it's in 2018. So the next Olympics that the U.S. has a shot at would be the 2024 or 2028. And according to Ford from ESPN, she was reporting that the International Olympic Committee voted to simultaneously award 2024 and 2028 Olympic Summer Games to Paris and LA. Again, a pending agreement with the IOC Leadership Committee and the hosting cities. But again, they said that they're going to simultaneously announce that in September from Peru, where they'll be holding the conference, I guess, at the time. But it's up to Paris and LA to decide which city gets which date. So they're like, we like you both to host either of them. You guys pick. You fight over it. Paris has been pretty hard pressed on having 2024, so I see them probably pushing for that. 2024 won't be too long after LA would have hosted, would be 3 NFL seasons by then and a Super Bowl. So they've been kind of flexible in the recent months from what I've understood. So for all intents and purposes, it looks as if Los Angeles will host the 2028 Summer Games. So, and again, this is on top of, they're hosting a Super Bowl coming up here in 2022, and they're in a bidding as one of the host cities for the United States in a 3-country bid for the FIFA World Cup. So, again, a lot of events within the 2020s that LA is looking to be involved in. And who knows, by 2028, maybe they'll have some sort of championship caliber sports team in Los Angeles. I mean, it could be college or professional. So, hopefully by then they have something of that means to provide. We'll see. Yeah. The handle for Twitter's at Matt Long Sports, and for the show it's at the CHT on Sports. That's what. Just got a question for that. All right, I will. Yeah, I'll get to those in a second. Yes, I will get in tonight with boxing. I will get into some boxing tonight, and not just Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. I will talk about that as well. They had their first of their press conferences today, and they're on the start of their world tour for their world promotion tour for that fight. It's pretty amazing where that looks like that event will be going. So I will be getting into that a little bit later this evening. But what I want to get into now is a little bit of the NBA. So this off season, many people have kind of revered and said nothing has really mattered this off season. It's all been moot, simply for the fact that the Warriors look like they made some upgrades, signing Nick Young, who I think is going to be a good component for them, most likely coming off the bench. Talked a little bit about that last in the Drive in the Lane video cast that I did. You can go over to Facebook at the CHT on Sports and see that video cast I did. But it's interesting that some people think that way. Again, I don't agree. It doesn't matter if the Warriors look stacked and looked as if they've added more on top of what they already had. At the end of the day, they still got to go play games. They still have to win. You know, now they could end up in a situation where they don't match well against the team that they end up playing. Or maybe they're just somebody that's going to be unstoppable in the West. I don't know. There's a lot of matchup problems for people with having Clay, Curry, Durant all being able to shoot and all being able to take the point of scoring, I mean. And they don't have to run the offense through any one person. Those matchups keep people honest. And Draymond down low does a lot to kind of help spread out defenses to where they have more open looks. And that's really tough. So having, more hybrid type forwards and somebody that with defensive presence is beneficial. But again, there's not a lot of guys that are those hybrid forwards and play good defense. It just not a ton of them in the league. So I think, though, that Cleveland has kind of been the biggest lull here. I mean, they've signed Jeff Green, and that's pretty much the only move they've made this whole offseason. He doesn't... he's kind of that, kind of a forward, but he doesn't do a ton for them. I mean, he came off the bench and didn't do much for a very terrible Orlando Magic team. So, how are you going to expect him to do much more with the Cavs? So, I think that they've missed out on a lot of stuff here. Now, again, the talks were early, and a lot of the talk was people were interested in people were interested in Paul George, and that Paul George had an opportunity to end up with several different teams. But at the end of the day, Paul George ends up with who? He gets traded away to Oklahoma City. Now, I'm not going to get deep into his comments just yet. I'm going to save that. I want to have that conversation about 20 minutes or so with Rob. But adding a star there in OKC shows that people can come to OKC and that there is opportunity there for fellow superstars, and that it's not just Westbrook that feels that he should be there, and that's good. That's good for the league. That does a lot for OKC. But to say that people that are sitting back and saying that all the stuff that's happening is pretty much a moot point because the Wizards are still look like they can't be beaten, you're missing the picture here. The West just got deeper. We just see the Spurs picking up some more depth with Rudy Gay, being able to alleviate something from Kawhi. To see that Minnesota Timberwolves added Jamal Crawford amongst the other pieces that they've added this offseason. To see the Celtics bringing in a big man and Aaron Baines, 1-year deal there. That's just saying that, he's a low average guy, but he's a big body in the middle. He's not there to score a bunch of points. He's there to get, he's there to get in relief, get a few rebounds, but he's that size that not a lot of teams have. I mean, the guy's he's a 7-footer, 6'10", 7 foot, something like that. I mean, that's size that a lot of teams don't have. He can lean on guys that are smaller and it makes it tougher. So, I mean, even the Suns, they look like they can kind of make some sort of a run at it now. I mean, they bring on Allen Williams, 3-year, $17 million deal. Get more depth. More depth. The Lakers have met with Caldwell Pope and Rondo today. So, again, those are more possibilities that the Lakers might add on more. So, my question is, what has Cleveland done in the last 2 years? And they really haven't done anything. The team from 3 years ago that lost, they lost, and then they lost pieces, and then they won a title. And they had a historic comeback, which was tough to pull off to begin with, let alone doing it twice. And it was just shown that adding the piece of Kevin Durant was too much. You're not going to get Durant, Curry, Clay all off, especially in a 7-game series. You're just not going to get that lucky for them to play bad for 4 straight games. I'm sorry. You're just not. You'll steal one, which they did. They stole one at Cleveland at home, and then went back to Golden State. So that's it. When you start series, you got to be able to steal them where you can, get them where you can, because if you can't win on the road, you can't win a title. And that's it. They struggled on the road. They couldn't. Didn't have the help defense. They just got out and ran. And it's surprising to see that they're trying to load up on 3-point shooters instead of guys that can get out and run. LeBron keeps looking at older veteran players. How is Carmelo Anthony truly helping? He's he's a better version of J.R. Smith. And you'll have to take a starting spot. So if he's starting, then that changes a lot of things. So if he's starting at the 3, so that means your Kyrie is your point, but he shouldn't be your point because he's an attacking 2. He's really a 3 in a 1's body, but he's more of an attacking 2 than he is a 1. So you have LeBron, he's a facilitator, but still, any guy that's averaging 25, 28 points a night is obviously a scorer in their own right. So he has his scoring. He's not great off the ball. I think he's below average off the ball. But he's a good distributor. He gets the ball to people. He gets people involved. He draws a lot of attention. Rightfully so. So, we're looking at the bigger picture. What are they needing? Well, they needed Deron Williams 6 years ago. That's what they needed. They needed that Deron Williams. They need a point guard to come in and be a distributor, not a scorer. You see, they need another ball handler. LeBron said they need more scoring, but it's not really that they need more scoring. They need somebody else that can bring up the ball, that can handle the ball, and be able to distribute to the other people that are scoring. LeBron. If they had that, if you give me a quality distributor and Melo, I would say that's a huge upgrade. But if you just bring in Melo, you just have another scorer. The Cavs are inept to ball movement or movement of just about any grade, it seems like. And that staggered their offense. They went numb, and it opened up a lot of those 11, 19-point runs that the Warriors went on. On top of that, you have LeBron and a couple bench guys really being the only one that are willing to play defense. I mean, you can't have these guys that should have been retired 2 years ago out there playing the kind of minutes that they're playing and putting in some of the top defensive effort when there's kids 10 years younger than them out there not even doing much of anything. So, but I'm going to get into that with my guest this evening. He is a contributor for TMZ Sports. He's a writer for RealSports101, and he's one of the guys that I'd say in this industry, young guys, is an up and coming mover and shaker. I don't think success is anything but this guy's future. And I want to welcome on Rob Parks. How are you doing tonight, Rob?
Hey, what's going on, Matt, man? I'm good, man. I'm good, man. It's cool tonight. Ready to talk to you, man, about this NBA, about the Cavs. I heard you going in on the Cavs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got your banner, your flag ready? I swear.
I agree with you, man. I got a lot of problems with their offense, man. I've been saying this for 3 years since LeBron came back, man. So,
hey,
get into that, man.
And that's, if you ever look at all the teams that he's a part of, it's the funny thing that people, it's the same thing. I think as much as he's part of the solution, he's part of the problem, because he wants a lot of things ran through him, and if they don't do it right, he's going to get at them. And because these kids don't know how to take criticism the way they should, they're standing around waiting to be told what to do. I think that's part of the problem. So that's why he's saying, I need more help. It's not because necessarily he doesn't have the pieces already there that could make them successful. It's that maybe it's between coaching and him not allowing coaching or him overreaching. That's not allowing the fluidity to be there. That's why you just see people standing. It's like set a screen, move around, cut to the basket. You don't see anybody doing anything away from the ball. And you just see him standing there, and then he's like, well, if nobody's going to move, I'm going to go do something with it.
Well, so if you look back in Miami, the way that team was set up, it was like him and Wade, and then there was like a bunch of shooters around him.
Yeah.
So it worked. They went to 4 finals in a row. 1, 2. Should have really won 3. Should have won that Dallas one. He went to bed. We already know what happened in 2011. But
yeah.
That team, like, for the way LeBron played, that team was perfect for him. So when he went back to Cleveland, it's still, even though they won the championship in 2016, they're still trying to figure out their identity. And this is about to be year 4. If you get what I mean. He's just so good, and the East is so bad that he has to take off to the finals every year. But it's not the same. It's not like Shane Battier's in the corner shooting, and Ray Allen, and Chris Bosh is picking and popping, and Chalmers is for 3. Like, this is a different team. So that's why you see when the Cavs play the Warriors, the ball stops. Either Kyrie holds the ball or LeBron holds the ball. Everybody's just standing around. Then it's a brick. Then it's a fast break for the Warriors. Next thing you know, you're down 20 points. You're down 25 points.
Well, see, and this is why I know a lot of people got upset about it here in the finals. I've been saying it for a couple years. Before LeBron came in, Kyrie had the chance to be a superstar. He had a chance because LeBron wasn't there. He got the contract of the superstar. He was told he's going to be the face. He got a coach that could build it around him and would be able to kind of do what they're doing, Kerr's doing already out there with the Warriors. In the coaching.
Kyrie's not that guy, though.
he isn't. But I think, I mean, if you look back at the interviews, he wasn't thrilled with LeBron coming because the dude stepped in and stole his spotlight.
Right, but once you see he was going to the finals every year, I mean,
he'll swallow it.
If LeBron leaves, he's leaving, right? What? Like, what are you talking about?
He probably That's the thing is like he will. I mean he'll swallow that.
He gonna try to get to
LA. Maybe, but whose fault is that? I think the problem is because of the way that they've just rolled out the red carpet and kind of put Kyrie, what his best interest is, aside in some regards. That's why they end up losing him, not because they couldn't keep him under contract or something like that. I mean, make him happy. It's because they said LeBron is more important than you, and we're going to give him more favor.
I mean, he is, though.
I know. I mean, but
is more important to him.
I mean,
but it's tough when you play on the team with LeBron James because LeBron James is a polarizing figure. I mean, he's like one that's. Can we agree that LeBron is top 3 all time right now? Individual.
I get top 10 all time.
Top 10. I mean, ESPN rated him 3, man, and I can't really like.
I mean, I can't.
Look at the guy.
I can't right now.
The guy, like, take away all the emotion aside and everything that people think about LeBron. When you look at the guy's numbers and his resume, at least top 5, dog.
I mean, yeah, I think hands down, he is the best all-around player in the history of basketball.
Ever, yeah, easy.
I could say that easily, but best player, top 3. I don't know if I could say that. I don't know if he's on because I think it's top 4 would be on Mount Rushmore. I don't know if he makes the Mount Rushmore. I don't know yet. Without being able to intelligently, that's why I said I can guarantee he's top 10 all time, probably top 5.
His story is still being written though. That's the scary part.
Yeah, that's the thing.
See how long he can keep this up. I don't know. Like I mean, it's just never been anybody in this like situation. It's a unique story. I mean, he's been in the NBA since he's 18, and he's not really showing any signs of slowing down, which is kind of scary. I mean, he takes care of himself, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
his workout regimen is crazy. Like, he has all the same equipment that the Cavs have in their practice facility at his house. Because that's how he works out. He's crazy. But,
Waiters was talking about him this week.
Time's undefeated, man. So
yeah.
We'll see.
You know, that's the thing is, like, I said.
It happened to Kobe, like.
Yeah, again.
About Kobe, but then look what happened to Kobe. Like.
Kobe wasn't really injured till he was like 36, 35, 36, and then it was like injury after injury. And LeBron's like our age. He's 33, right? 32, 33.
He'll be 33 this year.
Yeah.
He's 32. I'll be 32 next week.
Yeah.
So December? Yeah. He's 32.
So just to kind of hit on that, you're officially having birthday parties in New York, L.A., and Miami. Is that what's up?
I don't know where.
Yeah.
But look, I was just in my. For the thing is, like, I do healthcare IT consulting, so I travel around the country. I'm actually like boring ass Wisconsin right now. It's terrible up here. But
there's a lot of beer and cheese there.
Man, dude, this is terrible, dog. I'm at work every day, so it's cool. It's all good, man.
I'm from Nebraska. I know what it's like in Wisconsin because it's the same thing as Wisconsin.
Actually, Nebraska wasn't bad. Nebraska wasn't bad, man.
Were you in Omaha or where?
I went to Nebraska. I was in Omaha for like a week, and then I went to North Platte, Nebraska for like 3 days, and I left.
North Platte?
Omaha was great, man. And I actually got to visit the university. I got to go on the football field and everything. Nebraska.
See, Omaha's cool.
I just walked in.
Omaha and Lincoln have everything that most major cities do. It's just a smaller population.
Yeah, Omaha was nice, man.
Yeah, Omaha's a pretty big city.
I had a good time at Omaha.
I think they're over a million population-wise.
Yeah.
So Lincoln's.
Right. You're from Lincoln or Omaha?
Yeah, I'm from Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
that's my city. They got, but the crazy thing is we were talking the other day. People would underestimate how small things, seeming like infrastructural type things, like a stadium, will make a difference for a community. It was a huge difference that was made for Orlando to get the Magic, more so to get their first arena, and now to get the Amway Center.
Mm-hmm.
It has changed that downtown area completely. Lincoln was kind of a similar thing. It is. I've been to
Amway Center is crazy. Like, you remember when I used to live in Orlando? Like, you're my Facebook friend back there, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I was at Amway all the time at that. Have you been there?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there for several different things.
The club on the top of the building is crazy. Like,
yeah.
What? Like, it's a legit club up there. What's it called? 180?
Something like that.
Like that Orlando is tight. Like, you can't. If you told me I have to go live in Orlando right now, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, that's the thing is like where I lived in Tampa. Well, I lived in Tampa for the last 10 years. We just moved north of there because where my wife works, it's a lot closer. I work from home. It's kind of a dick move to make her drive an hour one way to work. So we moved closer to her work. But still, I'm 45 minutes from Orlando, hour from Tampa. So it's still, I'm cool. I'll drive wherever. I probably should have been a trucker.
Right.
You know, but I don't care. I'll drive. I don't give a shit.
Right.
So I'll drive down to cover Bucks games, USF, or actually closer to Gainesville now. But that's just it. It's like it's such an area where Central Florida is really like its own thing, because you can see, hear, enjoy just about anything you can think of on the planet in Central Florida. Anything. Just think about it.
Let me tell the listener something. Like, the state of Florida, to me, honestly, the state of Florida is like home for me. Besides Ohio, like, I consider the state of Florida like my home. Anywhere in Florida, besides like Jacksonville area, I don't go up there at all. Like Tallahassee, I don't go up there at all. But Central Florida is the shit, and South Florida is the shit. Like, anything you want to do, you can do it either of those areas. If you're in Orlando, you want to go to Miami, get on the turnpike, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, you're there. Or
not even that.
Cheap flight.
It's like 45 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I just caught a layover in Orlando going down to Miami. The flight was like 35 minutes. I was there. I was like, crazy. Like, like, come on, like.
They're like, the seatbelt's lights off if you want to go to the bathroom. All right, we are beginning our descent. What? Please sit down. Tray tables. What are you talking about? I didn't even get to go.
She couldn't even give me my Sprite. Like, she couldn't even give me my Sprite. She's like, oh, we got to land now. I can't even get a drink. I'm like, what? Okay. Ooh.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
That's why I sit in I'm a bigger guy, too. You know, I'm 6'3", 230. So I like sitting in the where the exit doors are. That's the key.
Yeah.
First thing I say, I'm willing to help people get off the plane if they need to. And they're like, oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Right.
And I'm like, I may get scared and just run. I don't know. I haven't been in that situation yet. But that's what my mindset is right now. And I don't want to be squished. So that's what I'm willing to do. Whether I'll do it or not, I don't know. Let's not find out. You know,
let's not find out.
Let's keep this shit away from the Hudson. You know, we ain't trying to make a movie out of my flight. Let's just fly and land good. Let's just do that. Let's do routine shit. I like routine flights.
Right.
You know, if I want roller coasters, I go to Busch Gardens or Disney or an amusement park that is good for that stuff. I don't feel like I'm going to die. Right. So, but yeah, literally anything. That's what we when we looked at I lived in Puerto Rico for 1 year though. Out of that 10 years, I lived in Puerto Rico for 1 year. Yeah, I covered mostly boxing down there because that's really like the only sport that is professional that anybody wants to talk about, besides Olympics. But it was outside an Olympic year.
Yeah, what's that boxer that got killed down there in 2012? Who was it? He was like pretty popular. Like he was an older guy though, so he was like past his boxing days, but he got shot in the head down there in Puerto Rico, in San Juan.
There's been
I can't think of his name.
There's been a few of them. That's the thing is like the island is good.
Name, you immediately know like it's so crazy down in Puerto Rico though, because where he got shot. Maybe like the week before I was over there, like we went to like the strip club over there, and it was like this was definitely the hood, man. Like it was the hood. And, you know how you get those vibes like when you go in a place. I'm just like watching this dude in the corner. He's just like peeping everybody. I'm like, man, this is like kind of weird. Like let's dip up out of here. After a while, I'm like, let's go. So we went to El San Juan Hotel and party. But yeah, I know
which one you're talking. That's the strip club you're talking about.
It wasn't.
Is in a part.
Yeah,
it's ghetto. It's called Rio Piedras. Is where is this little part of it's San Juan, because you have like Isla Verde and the north where most of like the hotels that have the popping spots, and just south of there is Rio Piedras that has some more of the strip clubs, but it's pretty hood, man.
Yeah.
And it's Hector Camacho. Hector Camacho was his name.
That's him.
Yeah. I talked to his son every now and then. He lives in Tampa. He's fighting here in the next month or two. I talked to his dad's trainer, probably more than any of those guys. He owns a couple businesses there in Tampa on Columbus Drive. So I talk to him every now and then. But it's not really kind of it's beautiful. I wouldn't live there. After living there for a year.
It's good to go for a few days, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Puerto Rico's cool though, but I wouldn't live there for sure. No, like
it's
crazy. They say he was just sitting in his car and just got shot in the head. Like
yeah, because some people recognize people, they want money and you don't give it, or they don't recognize you and they want money and they don't get it. You don't know. It's not like if you stay out of areas like that, you're generally pretty good. You know, don't see. I've been all kinds of places. I mean, in Venezuela, my wife's from Venezuela, so I've been in really bad areas in Venezuela. I've been, at night, as long as you aren't drawing unnecessary attention to yourself, you're good, usually, unless there's some people that just want to start some shit. And those people are few and far between, really. Most people just aren't going to go mess with people. But they're out there.
Yeah.
So, I've been on the south side of Chicago and stuff. I have friends and stuff that's been down there. I've never had an issue. But then again,
me neither.
If you act right
Chicago,
and give people respect, people generally give it back, Don't.
Yeah, it's all about just minding your own business, man. Wherever you're at, just
exactly.
knowing how to move in the streets, and you be good.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm from Cleveland, so like that's one of the worst places. That's one of the worst places in the country. Everybody knows about Cleveland, first 48 city, man. So it is what it is, man.
The city, the drinking city with a sports problem, right?
All people do in Cleveland is get drunk, man.
Yeah, I had this a boss one time. He was a ginger-headed guy from Cleveland, so he that's what he had. He had a brown stick. Like our office was in Rocky Point here in Tampa, so beautiful, overlooking the Upper Bay, and he put the giant browns, like one of those gel type sticker things, up, and I was like, why would you ruin the view by putting a Browns helmet up? Like. He was like, oh.
I'm definitely not a Browns fan. No way.
I'm a fan. I'm like,
man, I don't even talk about the
I was like, that looks like a turd floating in the water. Don't put that up on the window.
The Browns are a disgrace. And this guy I was just on the podcast with, like, last week when I was in Miami, he talked about he thinks the Browns are going to make the Super Bowl in the next 3 years. I'm like, are you out of your mind? With who? Who's the quarterback right now? Who's the quarterback right now? I don't even know.
Rookie.
Who's the Browns quarterback? That rookie they drafted?
Yeah.
He's going to be starting?
Out of Notre Dame.
Oh, my God.
Probably.
Oh, my God. Now, the Miles guy, he's a beast, number one guy, but, like, he's on defense. He's not a playmaker. They need playmakers, man. The Browns have not had playmakers, man, since they came back in '99.
But that's the thing is, like, they've gotten guys that are quality NFL players, but they keep trading them away. Or they lose them in free agency because...
Didn't TP just sign with the Bucks?
Who?
Pryor.
No. I didn't see that.
Where'd Terrell Pryor go?
I think he has 1 year left in Cleveland.
No, he doesn't. He left. He signed with the Bucks, man.
Are you sure? I don't think so.
Terrell Pryor is gone.
I think it might have been the Redskins or...
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The Redskins, Washington. But, like, why, though? Like, why do y'all do that? And it's not even for any money difference. Like, you just let this guy go. Yeah, he plays for the Redskins now. You're right.
Well, that's the thing is, like, outside...
He had 1,000 yards receiver. He's not even a receiver.
Yeah.
He had 1,000 yards receiving last year, 77 receptions, 4 TDs.
Well, that's the thing is...
Just let him go.
Well, but still, the Seahawks did the same thing. The Seahawks just let him go, too. They cut him. That's how he ended up with the Browns. Because he said when he was in Seattle, he was willing to look at potentially being a wide receiver there. And they didn't want to they decided to let him bounce. And he went down to Kansas City for a few months. And then he ended up in Cleveland as a wide receiver, did well.
Right.
And then, you see...
It was really it's really an experiment.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You know...
And it just worked out.
But see, that's what's that kid, Terrence Gibson? See, that's why I worry about him. I talked to him a couple different times before he decided to go when he was still in high school. I just said, hey, not hating on the Buckeyes, but maybe you should look at, if you're going to go there, also being a other position, a two-way player, or playing another position too. Yeah. Because at that point in time, I mean, they were stacked 3 deep at quarterback. I think he's still second or third on the depth chart now, and he was the number one dual threat quarterback coming out of high school.
Unless they tell you you're for sure coming in and starting eventually, like, don't go to Ohio State if you're a quarterback, man. Like,
yeah,
Ohio State is never going to have a bad quarterback ever.
I know he wanted to get out of Miami.
When's the last time Ohio State had a bad quarterback?
Like,
I don't know.
Well, there's a difference between a bad quarterback and a non-productive quarterback. They've all been productive quarterbacks at the position.
Crystal was bad, but he won a championship.
Yeah.
Crystal wasn't the best quarterback. He was probably the worst quarterback they've had since, like, maybe my high school years, and he even won a championship. So, like, Ohio State ain't going to have a good quarterback regardless.
They'll have somebody that can play, that's competent. Yeah, I agree.
Right. Somebody that can run the show, you know what I'm saying? They got a hell of a playmaker, so.
But, yeah, see, that's the other thing, is they've always had coaches or coordinators in place to where they have all that other talent they can use to, even when they don't have a good, like, they didn't lean on him to win the national title. I mean, they were able to do that mainly with running.
He was a game manager.
Yeah.
but they had playmakers around terms of like not Malcolm Jenkins, the receiver Jenkins. They had a squad. Like they've always had a squad, man. Like that it's crazy. They just always have playmakers, man.
For the most part.
And now with Urban Meyer there, it's even to another level. Like than when Tressel was there. Like Urban Meyer's getting like Florida cats now, like come to Ohio State.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's gonna run the show for a while.
You know,
in Alabama.
You know, a lot of people like Big Ten wise was upset to see Urban Meyer come, and then they were like, okay, now you got Harbaugh here. Like people were upset, and I was like, why? Like, well, now those two teams are just going to be good.
I like the rivalry, man. It's sweet.
But you have to understand, think of how much more money they're going to end up bringing to that. I mean, I'm telling you, Urban Meyer and Harbaugh is the reason that these teams are getting $35 million a year each cash from TV. They're getting like 26 from ESPN. They're getting like another 22 from Fox, and that doesn't even include the Big Ten network. So, or bowl games.
Who are you talking about? The university?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's just what they get. Yeah. Listen, the Big Ten gets more on its smallest deal than the SEC gets altogether from ESPN. They're literally getting like 3 times.
The Big Ten runs college football. That's why. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why people still think, everybody's on the SEC train.
You know why?
Excuse me.
Because a lot of the people that talk about that's down here. Like, I used to get, I listen to, especially here, like the radio here out of Ocala. Like, they were going through this morning because Clay Travis is out. So instead of having a host in, they kicked it back to local coverage. So they have local guys in here. So they were going through the SEC teams talking about what they think the record's going to be. And it's funny because he's like, well, these conferences, he said the Big Ten only has 2 national titles since '98, and I'm thinking like, the SEC has Alabama Alabama wins the titles for your conference. That's it. Without Alabama,
Florida won a couple, but who was the coach for Florida when they won?
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Exactly. So and by the way, pre-Urban Meyer, Florida, you just want to keep quiet because we don't want to go back to '97 and talk about the 64-32. Tom, how you got 9 guys miss a tackle on one quarterback? He's 5'9", and he broke 9 tackles and ran for 98 yards for a touchdown. Tommy Frazier.
You talking about Nebraska?
Yes.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
See, the Gators speak up too quick sometimes. They try to snap. They forgot. People be forgetting. It's funny because it's like fans forget stuff really quick too, like Boston fans, just Boston fans in general. It doesn't matter if it's the Patriots or the Red Sox, because before that miraculous year for those two teams, they were pretty much garbage. Like,
yeah,
I remember when I was a kid growing up, I get like a Patriots card. I would trade that shit away.
The Patriots are bad. The Patriots are bad when we were kids.
They were terrible.
They did go to the Super Bowl in like 1996. I remember I was like 11 or 10. And they lost. Who they lose to in that Super Bowl? I forgot. But they got like whoops.
It was
and the team they lost to was like way better than them.
It was with Bledsoe, wasn't it?
It wasn't. Yeah, it was with Drew Bledsoe, but it wasn't Dallas. It was I'm about to look at that right now because it's gonna be bothering me.
They
lost. So 96, they were. You know what I'm saying? They were decent. They lost the Super Bowl, but other than that, they were terrible until Brady started. Man. And that was kind of like an accident because remember Bledsoe had got hurt, so Brady stepped in, and then he just balled out, and then he, he started from then on, like to now. But yeah, I hear you. Boston fans are very annoying. Very. I actually go work up there sometimes. They are very annoying. Red Sox fans are the worst. Celtics fans.
Let me ask you this. What's worse? What's worse, Boston fan or Philly fan?
What team? What sport?
Baseball.
Baseball. Philly fans and football for sure. I actually like the Patriots, so I can't really say that. I mean, I like the Patriots because they have a squad. Like I just like how their organization is ran and.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I like the owner. I like the coach.
You're a bandwagon kind of guy. I feel you. Yeah.
No. I've always liked the Patriots. I've always liked the Patriots because they have like Belichick and Brady, like, because they just, they play football.
Yeah, I feel you.
But the Red Sox are annoying. Like, come on, and the Celtics are annoying. Like, what are you guys cheering for to get your ass whooped by LeBron? Like, come on now.
Y'all
celebrating a second round win to get your ass whooped by LeBron. Like, get out of here.
Obviously, Danny Ainge, people think he's crazy, and he's done some relatively dumb-looking things that have worked, and now he's doing more dumb-looking stuff that may end up working in the long run. We don't know, but if
hey man, I think what he's doing now is actually going to work, right? It just pains me to say it, but God damn it, Danny Ainge be doing some dumb shit though, man.
But my issue, Danny
Ainge is really, he was really trying to get Paul George, right?
Yeah.
Like bad.
Yeah.
He still is. He still thinks he can get him next year.
I know.
He still thinks he can convince him. He thinks he can convince him to not go to L.A. and come to Boston when he's from L.A.
See, that's the thing. Is like
Pritchard didn't want to trade Paul George to the East for some reason, which is weird. Because they were about to do the deal with the Cavs, and then Pritchard said no. Like, this is what people don't know. Like, that deal, Kevin Love was about to be gone. It was about to be a 3-team deal, and Pritchard said no. Paul George would have been.
Well, because Pritchard wanted more draft picks.
That's what I'm saying. So he got it from the Thunder.
Yeah. And Thunder was like,
Paul George would be in Oklahoma City 1 year, and he got it there.
Yeah, but they also forked up Oladipo.
Exactly.
See, I think the fun thing is they got Oladipo.
I think that might come back to bite them because I actually like Victor, man. I think Victor's good.
See, I think the thing is he needed another year with the team. I think that's what it was. Right. He just wasn't meshing with them. I mean, we didn't see any growth with it. But that's it. He's balling with.
He's a very ball dominant, like, aggressive player. Like, it's hard to play with a guy like that when you kind of play the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Victor Oladipo plays the same way. Remember in Orlando?
Yeah.
Victor Oladipo used to go off in Orlando, right? He was good. I've seen him play the Cavs a few times. I've seen him play the Cavs in person and go off. I'm like, damn, this dude got game.
See, I was hoping LA might scoop him up on the cheap. Be honest with you, because he could. Yeah, because I think he'd be either.
He makes too much money. He's getting paid $21 million this
Yeah,
year.
that's why they didn't. That's why they didn't keep. I mean, Nick Young was only making like $7. So he was,
Yeah.
And he was making like 7.1 or 7.5 or something with LA this last year, and I think he signed for 7.7 with Golden State. So it's not like he feels like, hey, I'm worth $7 million a year. I'm good with that, whatever. Like, let's see if I can go get a ring real quick and then go make some more money somewhere else. I don't know.
Right.
So I appreciate it.
We saying $7 million like that's chump change, though. Like, I mean, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. I've never made $1 million in my entire life with mine and my wife's income. Like, I'm still having Now that's in cash. If we're talking about assets, we can start talking then. But as far as income, no, I have not. So that's the other thing.
Right.
You know, that's the funny thing. I see a lot of people now that they hear, you know, we was talking about a little bit LeBron's album, talking about buying real estate and making your money work for you after the 444 album comes out, and people getting enlightened all of a sudden, but acting like
get the fuck out of here.
Nas hasn't been on that for a minute. Like, I don't know.
See my post? Like,
yeah.
Man, like, JB should have been talking about that like 20 years ago. Like,
hey,
too late, baby.
You need to get at your boy. He said Nas was boring. He's like, I get bored listening to him. I'm like,
who said that?
Dude, go back and look at the thread. He said he's boring, and I was like either you're not.
Only a clown would say some stuff like that.
Either you're not listening or you don't know how to think. One of the two. I don't know. I was like,
boring. Like what?
Jesus. I don't know how.
Dude, anybody that listens to rap, like, respects Nas. Like, that's not even a question. That's not even a question. Like, are you joking? What are you talking about?
That exactly. I don't know what people be crazy.
Over it, like, shut up. What he was saying, like,
this dude.
Crazy, no.
I'm about to go make a KO shake. Shit. Plus, I got a flight in 10 minutes. Can't be listening to this bull.
What?
You take a flight like every third day, I swear. Yeah, I swear. It's either there's a pin for a flight or it's 4 hours of Snapchat. Like, I feel. Yeah. Be like Snapchat karaoke.
Somewhere or flying somewhere. I'm always on the move, man.
Yeah, in the Snapchat karaoke. I can't do that. I look goofy. I look goofy doing it. I can't. I can pull off hats well, but I can't pull off the karaoke thing. I'll look silly. I know it.
Karaoke.
I'll go off on rants. I'll do rants, but I can't do the karaoke lip sync shit. You know, I can't. In a bubble bath. I mean, you be in like a bubble bath doing it. I'm like, I just can't do it. That's not me. That's not me. I can't do the. I'm sure I saw it once. I'm sure it was there once. I meant to screenshot it, and I was like, nah, I'm not a hater like that. Dude likes bubble baths. You did a little bath ball and it was spinning and shit. I'm like, I don't know why I'm watching this. Like, as long as he doesn't marry a Kardashian, he should be straight.
Right.
You can do a bubble bath, but don't marry a Kardashian. Oh yeah, right.
What the hell is he thinking about? You know, they were at the final game. I just don't get it, man. I just don't understand, like, dude. Y'all like passing around the same girl? Like, I think basketball players just like passing around the same girl. Like,
yeah, just don't have.
Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know, but if I know about, most of these guys have been playing basketball against each other since middle school, AAU. So we've been playing. I've known you since middle school, and now we're adults, and we both in the NBA. And you pass your girl to me, like, I break up and she just gets passed around. Like, you're comfortable with that? Like, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. I don't know about you. What about you, Matt?
Nah.
I think it's weird. Like,
nah, I've been.
I don't know, like,
I gotta find something outside the circle. I need some new stuff. Like, I've always been. Nah.
Passed around, like. More power to him, man. I hope it works out.
I'm more into the.
They probably won't.
I met you first sort of thing. Like,
exactly. Like, nobody.
You can. I don't mind starting it off, but You know, I'm not. I don't like standing in lines, I guess.
Right, first you with Lamar Odom, now you with James Harden, now you with this guy, now you with me. Like, what the fuck? Like pass around the NBA.
The commissioner should ban them from I don't know. They should get tossed like Charles Oakley. That's who should be getting tossed. They should have been getting tossed, not Chuck.
Distraction. I mean, LeBron. LeBron didn't want them around.
I wonder what's going to happen when the big three goes to the Garden. Is James Dolan going to allow Charles Oakley to coach the team? Is he going to kick him out?
Are you talking about that?
The big three. Yeah, he's a coach.
He's a.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think it's the Tri County.
Oh my God, he was at the finals too. A damn fool. I don't know. No, it's only for Knicks games, man. I think he listed the ban right after that though.
Well, yeah, because it's
right. So they try to kick him out of the ban. How you gonna ban this man from the Knicks? This man played for the Knicks. He's a Knicks legend.
Yeah, exactly.
He choked that security guard out there. That shit was hilarious. That's that Cleveland in him, man. In Cleveland, Ohio.
He's from Cleveland?
Yeah, he's from Cleveland. He got a couple car washes in Cleveland, or like one car wash, something like that. But he's always in the city, man. Always. Big Oak.
It's
crazy, dude.
It's nice to see guys be around, though.
I think Charles Oakley will fight. I think he'll fight anybody, bro.
I think he would too. He said it. Whoever was he? He was on.
If it came down to it, like Charles Oakley would fight anybody on the plane.
He was in an interview. He's like, "Yeah, I will fight you. I will fight him. I don't like."
He doesn't care, bro.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. And he's a big dude. Why would he? Like,
yeah, he's like 6'10", right?
Exactly. Like, why?
Okay.
It's like Aaron Judge hitting home runs.
Like Charles Buckley fight before?
I think they did. They did. But Chuck used to get into it with people, random dudes in bars. He threw a dude through the window of a bar.
Yeah,
wasn't that in Cleveland too?
Man, no, I think that was Atlanta. Charles Buckley will fight anybody, man. He doesn't care. I mean, him and Shaq about to fight.
It's a Chuck thing, I think.
Him and Shaq about to fight. Him and Shaq about to fight on the show. Getting into it.
I ain't fighting Shaq.
Like, come on, bro.
Shaq will mush
Take it too far, like.
Shaq will mush something. He just.
Right. Shaq's too damn big to be fighting, man. You can't fight Shaq. You gotta shoot Shaq, man.
Yeah, I know, right? And even then, you can't even just have the average shit.
You have to shoot this dude, man.
Like
shoot him in his knee or something, man.
Something. Like, it has to be a big ass bullet too. You can't go no 22 with Shaq. It has.
I don't know how a human is that big. Like, I've seen people taller than him in person, but how big he is in person is stupid, man.
See, that's the crazy thing. I remember
what are you supposed to do with him? Like, remember when he played?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do with him?
I don't know. See, it's crazy because I've never seen Shaq in person. I've seen, being around NFL guys, a lot of those guys are huge. I remember when I was going from one sideline to the other during the Bucks-Lions game, and I looked down the field, and there's this massive human being. I'm like, 85. I'm like, dang, that's Megatron? He's huge. And he's like, Shaq would make him look like a child. Like, he would make... if Shaq stood next to Megatron, it would look like me next to Megatron. That's what it would look like. Like,
right.
Even smaller. Because, Megatron's what, 6'5"? He got me like 2 inches or something like that. So, but still.
I just literally just talked to him that game before. Like, he was on the sideline with like this corduroy suit on. It was ugly as hell. But
corduroys? What?
I don't know what the hell he was wearing, man. Like, it was crazy. But he was at the game. He was on the side. I was like, Shaq, what's up, man? Like, what's going on? Because, like, you know, he played for the Cavs for like a year.
Yeah.
He played for the Cavs.
Yeah.
That's when I first, like, really met him and, like, talked to him. So, like, you know, he remember who I am. Anyway, like, this dude is so big. Like, it's just stupid. Like, I just can't help but to think, like, when he used to play, like, what are you going to do with him? How can you stop him?
And,
remember how he used to dunk and, like, break the
yeah.
down and shit?
And think he used to be
on, like,
slimmer at one point. Like he was thinner in Orlando, and then he like put on muscle when he got to LA, and it was just like he was actually
he got big, right?
Yeah, he was like swole. It wasn't like fat.
A big, swole, bald, tall dude, like just dunking everybody, like.
Yeah, it's just.
When they won the championship, he was unstoppable when they won those championships with Lakers. Like, he was an animal.
But see, that's how you knew Kobe was so confident, because he looked at that and was like, "I'm better than that." Like, he's like, "I'm better."
Right, and nobody believed it at first though. Like I did. I was a big Kobe fan.
Oh, I still
That's my
am.
favorite player ever.
You know what?
I was like,
Kobe's been very unfortunate, just because the time that he's been in the NBA, because he came in at the end of Jordan's years, right? So it was kind of like new, but also Vince Carter, you know, Tracy McGrady, you know, Stevie Franchise, Iverson. Iverson stole. I still think Kobe should have won that MVP that year. But anyways.
You talking about 2001?
Yes. Well, I thought he should.
You think Kobe? You think Iverson? You think Kobe should have won over Iverson that year?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Iverson had a crazy year that year.
But that was mostly scoring.
Animal. Yeah, it was all scoring. But I mean, the reason why they gave it to him is because his team was. Think about how terrible that Sixers roster was. Eric fucking Snow and Aaron McKee and Theo Ratliff. Like these guys are certified bums, bro. He took them to the finals. Like what?
Dude, they were
Matt Geiger. Like,
did you look at their efficiency numbers though? I mean, they were high in the efficiency numbers.
They played well though for somehow.
Hey,
but
listen,
these guys are like bums, man.
Let me tell you this. I was so thrilled how well Tyronn Lue played against Iverson. Again, people said, "Oh, he got used." Listen, he didn't get used. He was playing something called defense. You don't win a lot on defense against a guy that's a once-in-a-generation type guy. He's going to lose most of the time. But he's the only one that could have been anywhere close.
He played good defense on him.
And, you know, that's the thing is, like, I used to play with Lou when I was younger. When he played for Nebraska, we also go out to the Air Park Rec, and they'd be balling. We go out there, and I think he's 40 something. I mean, I think he got like 6 years or 7 years on me. So, you know, I mean, I didn't play a whole lot because I was so much. I mean, when you got dudes from Nebraska and some of our top street guys from the neighborhood out there hooping it up, you know, kid in middle school is not going to make it in too many times. So you get in a game,
right?
But you know, they're running it. You know, his team usually didn't come off the court; they go home after like 6 games. So, but we used to have a couple boxers and stuff because we had a little boxing gym in there too, out at Air Park Rec. So it was kind of like a little spot that people didn't really know about. But yeah, it was like that tenacity. I don't know, that was so exciting for me. Like people that just look at fan of the stats. Don't see that's the thing. It's the difference between a fan of the sport that understands, somebody that played and understands, and then just a fan of the stats. Like the fanboys, they look at him like, oh, he got used. No, he didn't. He was playing defense.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you really don't.
But he played good on him the rest of the series. Cause
yeah.
How many more games did the Sixers win after that game? 0.
None. Exactly. So it was. that was the thing is, like, without Tyronn Lue, I mean, who are they putting on him? Derek Fisher? I mean...
Right, because Lue was like the backup point guard.
Yeah. And
Fisher's not stopping nobody, ever.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like...
Especially Iverson.
Fisher, his defense is like a sidecar on a motorcycle. He's just kind of like... He'd follow you, and then he switch, and then it's like... He's not going to exert...
He'll like lead you in the shack, and then Shaq will block your shot.
Exactly, that's what he did. It's smart, but it doesn't... But you're not stopping those shots. It's easy for people to pull up on you, you know.
Right.
That's how you get your ankles broken. But, you know, you can't be running with people. You turn your hips, they cross back, you're going to fall on your face. Just saying.
I swear, is it just me, or did Derek Fisher always play like an old man, like his whole career?
His whole career. You know?
His whole career, he was like an old guy, but he wasn't really old. Like.
Yeah, it's funny. Robert Horry was kind of like that too. He was kind of like,
right.
He's like, I'm not really gonna run. I'll be in the corner.
Just like, right, sit here and wait for the ball to come to me, and I'll shoot that bitch.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Rick Fox had to retire because of, you know, the product that he bought for his hair went out of business. So he's like, I can't be going in front of the cameras with my locks looking like that. Yeah. I don't know. How did Rick Fox get so popular? He really wasn't even that great. You know, he was. People like Rick Fox.
Rick Fox is like the pretty boy in the NBA. That's why. And he got Vanessa Williams. He was married to her. That's how he really got on TV for real. Think about it.
He's a Tyler Perry lead man. That's what he is. That's how he...
Right. Think about it. If Rick Fox was never married to Vanessa Williams, would he be on TV? Probably not.
Probably not. He'd be in a Tyler Perry movie, though. I guarantee that.
Tyler Perry movie. Oh, my God.
That's all Tyler Perry casts. Like, come on.
Straight corny movies, man.
Yeah. It's like... like he cast it like the same way they cast like novellas in Spanish. Because all the young people are good looking.
Play every movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like my wife be talking about, yeah, this guy's been a lead guy. He's looked the same since I was a kid. And then she like pulled up this old one on YouTube, and I was like, was that a couple seasons? She's like, no, this is 20 years ago. I'm like, damn. They haven't found somebody else since then? I'm like, I guess that's just not the... I guess that's the industry for longevity. But Tyler Perry movies and Spanish novellas. Yeah. So let me ask you this. As far as the Cavs, how do you feel of what they've done so far? Because it doesn't seem like they've done... They've signed Jeff Green. I mean, it's really been 2 off seasons of really nothing. Even though they re-signed people last year, but it's really been they haven't done anything to really address how they can match up better with the Warriors. Like they don't have a big man, and they don't have somebody that's a true point. But they have scores.
I mean, the true point thing is not a factor to LeBron. Either Kyrie's getting better at playing, but LeBron is really the point guard, so that's not really an issue. Tristan Thompson is not a true big man, but Tristan Thompson does hustle to get second chances. I mean, honestly, man, when you got LeBron on your team, man, you're in every game you can win.
I feel you.
They could have went either way if they would have won game 3. Like, let's just keep it real. But they lost game 3, so the rap, you know what I'm saying? And they blew it. And the reason why they blew it because, and that goes back to your leadership. That goes back to your coach. These guys played. They were playing to like not lose instead of playing to win. Like whatever, they were up the whole game. And how do you not blow that? I don't understand.
LeBron was like, these guys
don't give a shit.
He's like, yo, I sat down for 2 minutes and these dudes go on a 19-point run. Like,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, these guys don't give a damn. Like, come on, man.
And it wasn't even like
There's no way
Kyrie.
you lost that game.
Like half of that 2 minutes, like a minute and a half, Kyrie was sitting. A minute, or like almost all the time, Durant was sitting. Like it's like not even like their top three guys are out there. Like it would get started off
Right.
by West making a putback, and then turn around. Now Clay hit a shot, and then it's kind of like. It's like, all right, like the bench would get that started. Usually that's what it was. The bench was getting it started because they would have.
Yeah.
See, I don't understand, like, yeah, and I don't understand why they ever took Kyrie and LeBron off the floor at the same time. And they did that a couple times, and that's kind of also where you've seen some of those runs get started and continue, when they both came off. And I don't know. I don't get that. It's just, the thing is, if they're going to be able to combat the threes, I don't think it's necessarily because I think they've tried too hard. And I was saying this at the beginning of the year. I was like, they're trying too hard to be the Warriors. Don't try to be the Warriors. Be Cleveland. You beat them before, but it's because you had a big man down low that you could use, and you had that hyper defensive little point guard that was a D-League. Somehow he made it up. When you have a point guard that's just so defensive minded like that. See, that's what I was talking about, more like the true point. If you can have a defensive minded point that doesn't necessarily need to bring the ball up, but he's willing to distribute and doesn't have to be a scorer, I think that's what will help more. Because if you can run the offense through LeBron but through somebody else's hand, that makes more sense because he's going to pull double teams. I mean, I think LeBron's kind of average or below average away from the ball, is away off ball stuff, but he's just such an athlete that doesn't matter. I mean, people still are going to go to him because he can score. And then Kyrie, that's going to leave him one-on-one,
This is why the Cavs need Carmelo. Like, people say Carmelo doesn't play defense, but Carmelo can get his own shot, man. Carmelo can make things happen. Like, Carmelo on offense is crazy. Like, now defense, like, what's Carmelo going to do? Like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is,
Kevin Love plays good, but Kevin Love, in the frame, Kevin Love disappeared. Well, it's the Warriors. I don't know if it's Draymond Green. I don't know what it is.
See, what I was saying earlier in the show, I'm pro Melo in Cleveland if they could have that point, because otherwise he's a better version of J.R. Smith. If he's just going to be there to do that, he's a better version of J.R. Smith, and he's going to take a starting position instead of coming off the bench. So, potentially it doesn't help depth, really, and then he's going to be in the 3. Right. So where's LeBron? LeBron's going to play the 2 or the 4? Because he's not at the point.
Melo will play the 4, and Melo will play the 4, and Love will play the 5. Because Melo's used to playing the 4 from FIBA, from the Olympics.
Yeah.
So Melo will be the 4. Kyrie, JR, LeBron, Melo, Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson does not need to start no more, bro.
See,
I don't care what nobody says.
Tristan Thompson is like a 3 that can't shoot.
Right. So now he has to learn how to rebound. Now he's a 5.
Yeah.
You're really 6'8". You're really a small forward, right?
Yeah. So
you just have no offensive game.
Exactly. So he's in there. We all know he's in there to clean up boards, and
right. He has no
be a menace. That's what he's in there for. He's not trying to contribute point wise. He'll have his standing.
He can do that off the bench. Like, I don't know why he didn't start.
He doesn't. But that's the thing is, like, they don't have that big man option, so they really don't have a choice. They got to put somebody in there.
Yeah, they lost Miles. I think Miles got just stuck with that father,
but see,
took the money. Now they traded him to Brooklyn.
You see, that's the thing is,
I like Miles, man. He was decent.
See, I was happy that LA got him. I just was like, it's when they got him. Like, if they would, he could have played and been as productive as Pau Gasol was when Pau and Kobe were there, but he didn't have another guy there. You don't have that other star to create that with, and plus he got hurt. So,
right. He's playing with D'Angelo Russell and shit. These guys don't have a clue. That's why he got traded.
And that's, I don't know. And D'Angelo Russell, again, the problem is like, I feel like part of the problem with the NBA now with some of the points that they bring in, like the points, like Kyrie is like, he's that hard driving 2 or 3, but he has a 1's body. You know, he's just undersized for the way he plays, and it's going to work for him because he's playing the point. But there'll be because if they had to put him in, see, that's the thing is like it's tough to put him on a 2 because I don't think he's a good shooter, but he's not that strong of a shooter where he's really he's really not really an off guard, you know. He's better with the ball in his hand.
Right.
But you don't have besides LeBron, there's not another distributor there. You know, everybody else is pretty much ISO or I don't want the ball. Give it to somebody. Give it back to LeBron. Like nobody else wants to take shots. You know, that's the thing is in Miami. When you had guys like he had guys like Eddie House that could go up in late games off the bench and put up shots. You know.
Eddie House, and shout out to him. He's been on ESPN lately. Like, it's a good look. For that guy.
I won in NBA 2K. I won so many shooting contests with that dude. Like, you don't get it.
Yeah, he can flat out shoot the rock when he played. That's what he was known for.
My dude used to take Tracy McGrady and just bomb from like 3/4 court, and I was like, "You're just too accurate." Like Tracy McGrady was his key. I was like, I don't know how you do it.
In the Hall of Fame. That's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
Close to the Hall of Fame.
Jesus.
It's funny. There's a video on YouTube with T-Mac playing Markel Fultz beating him 1-on-1. like right now, like
Jesus.
He's the number 1 pick in the draft. Getting beat by a retired McGrady, like getting torched.
It's crazy. But these guys are coming out way too early, man. You know,
these guys are just not as good, man.
Did you see the question I put up the other day? I don't think you did. I said, okay, so in high school right now, well, the big thing has been that they hold people back, usually like in 8th grade or 9th grade. So they have essentially an extra year of high school. A 1 year of development for somebody that age is a huge advantage over their peers. So an extra year in the weight room, an extra year of doing the task, you're gonna stand out more, and that helps them get recruited better. So if this is the thing with AAU with high school football to hold them back to look better, why is it that they don't apply the same logic that they're using to college? You know, stay in college longer so you can be more developed. Because, if you're not a top 5, top 8 pick, you might as well just stay.
These guys are just trying to get money though, like.
But is the game plan just to get money? Because if you're that good, you could come out as after your freshman year and make it in the first and get drafted. If you're good enough to get drafted after 1 year, wouldn't your odds be pretty much the same to get drafted the following year? I mean, just think about it. But you're more developed. So you're more – it's not – again, the G League is not set up to really develop a bunch of players. They're not there yet.
The D-League doesn't develop anybody.
No. I mean, I think like the coaches are just guys that are –
there until you can go to the NBA or something, maybe.
Yeah, and they're just what? They're playing against other guys that couldn't make it. Like, if you think about it.
Right, basically.
So you want to go hang out in a league that doesn't get any publicity and be coached by a guy that maybe one day, I mean, his whole goal isn't to develop you, it's to get at the end of the bench. He's trying to get to sit on an NBA bench because he gets paid more. He's just trying to find his promotion. So he wants to do his enough time in the D League that he can move up to the bench in the NBA. And then he can just ride pine or be a part of the training staff or something like that. He's just looking to get in. That's it is. Right. He's not. His whole goal isn't to be a coach. You know, it's just to try to get to that next level. His next payday. His next promotion. That's really all he's looking for. And developing players he's not even going to be there long enough to do that. So that's the thing is like they don't have their minor league set up to where they're really going to be doing much development at all. So I mean, stay in college. You got tons of swag that you get. You know, there's tons of jersey chasers out there. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. You play for a team and people don't realize it, but it is substantially easier than if you don't. Like that alone changes it a little bit. So I don't get it. Just stay in college. Might as well prepare for your after college life or after pro life, because the way it looks is these guys ends up in the D League, washes out after 3 years, and ends up working at Foot Locker as a gas station or some bullshit, So is that what you're gonna do? So you're gonna wash out and then what? Oh, well, your college isn't free anymore. Right. You decide to forego the education, and for what? To get a couple. I mean, what do they make? They make a couple grand a month in the D League, if that.
They go back to their hometowns and try to live off their name from the past and shit.
Try.
It's crazy, man. It's sad.
But again, after 1 year, what do you get? What are you living off of? I mean, think about it.
Only getting like $50,000.
Maybe, if that. I don't even think they're getting 50. I don't even think they get 50. I think it's probably depending on the city, but probably not even that. So it's. I just don't understand the behinds of why jump to the NBA. I mean, people, I get you're going to get paid, but if you're good enough to get paid after 1 year of college, you should still be good. That's as good, if not better, to get paid the same, if not more, after 3 years. And then at least that over that time period, you can get your education. You're still getting your free shoes, your free gear, free education, like free food, like your housing and stuff. Like, at least understand, like, it's they don't get the game, They let the game control them, and they aren't trying to control the game. That's the thing. They don't get it. They don't get it.
Right.
They think pimping's wearing a ring and a fur coat. It's more to pimping than that, player. There's more to pimping than that. They don't get it. They're trying to. They're playing Halloween, and people are playing real life. That's the difference. You dressing up, other people living it. That's the problem. So, but I know you said you got an hour for tonight. Do you have a couple seconds to talk about the McGregor-Mayweather?
Yeah. I'll talk about that before we wrap up. Yeah, man, McGregor. I can't believe these two are fighting, man. I watched the press conference earlier. It was cracking up. Like, Floyd just talking reckless to this dude. And, I mean, honestly, like, come on, like, do you guys really think McGregor has a chance? Like, he's boxing. Like, it's not like they're, like, just fighting for real. Like, they're boxing. This is Floyd's a master boxer. Like, McGregor's about to get the hands put to him. Like, I hope everybody really realizes that. Like, McGregor might get knocked out. Floyd said to him during the press conference, "Do you want to get knocked on your back or on your face? Take your pick." That's what he told this man. Like, disrespectful. Like, Floyd never disrespected nobody like that. No boxer. You know what I'm saying? He'll talk his little shit, but he'll get up there and, like, you know what I'm saying, be about business. Against McGregor, like, it's a joke to him because he knows he's going to knock him out.
See,
McGregor might not punch him one time in the face, man.
But
Floyd doesn't get hit anyway.
So
think about it.
I went on here, the Tampa affiliate here, their ESPN affiliate, to talk a little bit about it. They had me on there, and I've been on a couple of other places, smaller podcasts and stuff to talk about it. And this is the way I put it. If Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo, again, good hand speed, lots of power. Marcus Maidana, twice, hand speed, power. He's fought Sugar Shane Mosley. He's fought Oscar De La Hoya. Again, and that was a younger Oscar De La Hoya than today. But at the end of Oscar's career, but still a 30-something-year-old Oscar, but still he had some speed.
Still a pretty good boxer, yeah.
One of the best. You know, he's up there in history books, so he's no slouch. I mean, Miguel Cotto. I mean, he's fought guys that have some hand speed and power enough to be champions at the 147, 154 weight class. Like, so you're going to tell me these guys who are professional boxers couldn't touch him. But for some reason,
so how is McGregor,
a guy that has a wide stance, his hands down, and little boxing experience, is going to touch him? That's what you... Like, if he tackles him, yes. Like, even if you look at Manny Pacquiao, who was, again, a diminished Manny Pacquiao, but still, if people watch back the Pacquiao fight, they're wondering why Pacquiao maybe wasn't as aggressive. It's because every time Pacquiao was coming in, because his move is lean right, throw the left. Because when you lean right, people are thinking that, you know, he's coming with his right hand or there's some sort of hook, but he comes with the overhand left. It's just like his little signature thing. But the thing is, he was doing that, but he was coming in to try to get left hook or his left inside on Floyd. But every time he did that, because Floyd's shoulder roll, I mean, it keeps pretty much most of the punches off him, but he has that straight right, and people don't see it because it's behind his shoulder. So it comes in, he gets it straight. He hits it straight on the button. So Pacquiao was he was cognizant of it because he got hit with it several times in the early rounds. So that's why, you know, he did get Floyd against the ropes and punch him up, but it was mainly arms and gloves. So it wasn't even like he was scoring points. It was just looking funny. It was looking, gets the crowd riled up. So it wasn't doing anything. So that's the thing. Is like, what is Conor McGregor going to do? Okay, I'll give him this. I think he's going to press. I think he's going to press Floyd, and I hope so because that'll make it more entertaining. Because I think he's going to press Floyd, and Floyd's actually going to let him do exactly like he let Maidana do, exactly like he let Pacquiao do, and let him get him against the ropes, get some shots off on the arms and the gloves. It's not going to phase him. And he's going to work his defense and show how he can't get touched. He's going to get the straight right in there, move out the way. And then we're going to hear about Conor McGregor lost in 12 rounds by unanimous decision, and how Floyd ran all fight. And that's going to be the narrative. But it's going to be a highly entertaining fight. It'll go 12 rounds. Floyd's going to get hit, but it's not going to hurt. And that's the thing is, it's going to be kind of like that Maidana one, because a lot of people are like, oh, Maidana got some good shots in on him. If you go back and watch it, it grazed him. They were grazing shots. They weren't meaningful shots.
He never gets hit, man.
Yeah, he just doesn't get hit squarely.
He never gets hit. He doesn't get hit square in the face, man.
Zab Judah got him, and that should have been a knockdown. He didn't get the knockdown. And Shane Mosley got him in the second round against that fight, and then Corrales had him. I mean, those are the only three people that have really had any sort of phasing. And again, Shane Mosley's older. So if this was Shane Mosley 6 years before, it's a different story. Shane finishes him off in the second round, I think, or comes close, gets a knockdown. But he had a hurt groin in that fight too, so he was still fighting with a groin issue. So he couldn't fight him off from holding. And the referee lets Floyd hold a lot too. So he got that same guy. He has his henchman calling the fight. So
yeah, man, it should be entertaining though, man. We'll see, man.
I look forward to it. Yep. So
I look forward to it.
I'll definitely be.
I'll be in Vegas. I don't know if I'm going in the actual fight, but I'll be out there. So.
All right, man. So. Well, appreciate you coming on tonight. We'll have to do this again.
No doubt. Yeah, we'll do it again for sure. Yes, sir.
And just so everybody knows, 3-city tour for his birthday, L.A., New York, and Miami. Just saying. It's out there. He may not be at all three of them, but people are going to throw parties in his honor.
It sounds good, though.
Yeah. I'm spreading the rumor. I'm going to spread the rumor. People know.
Yeah, it just depends on a few things where I'll be, man. But I'll let all my people know where I'll be. They'll know.
All right, man.
We'll see.
Rob,
right, man. Have a good night, man.
Rob Parks. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. It's always a good time. We talk so much online. It's nice to get him him not on a plane to be able to come on a show. So that's always nice. Let me bring on, since we're kind of in the realm of boxing and we need to get into football, let me bring on the host of the Boxing Source radio show and the editor for boxing for the Cold Hard Truth on Sports, Mr. James Bell. How you doing tonight, James?
Yo, what's going on?
Can you hear me tonight? Is it?
Yeah. I was trying to get on that NBA Finals talk, man.
I wasn't watching. I wasn't watching.
Y'all bringing up some points in there, so kind of like reflecting back on what's been going on with the NBA here in this off season, but.
What do you
kind of like carrying over to what happened in the postseason?
What do you
like the NBA is on people's minds, man?
Yeah, but here's the thing: it's like I'm hearing so many people say it don't matter because it can't catch up with the Warriors, and I think that's the media driving a lot of that, the who cares shit. But the thing is, there's a lot more depth in the NBA now. To have Paul George go to Oklahoma City makes a relevant team in the West more relevant. So now, again, maybe that doesn't change. Maybe they're not in a position to where they can upset Oklahoma or upset the Warriors. But now they're in a position that prolongs the postseason. Because now it's going to be a more interesting game against San Antonio, who again acquired Rudy Gay. So again, the West getting deeper makes the level of play out there more interesting. It's a tougher regular season. Hopefully, with being able to have more teams that where the talent is kind of spread out a little bit more. Hopefully that creates better ratings for them during the regular season. But that's so tough. See, that's why, baseball and basketball really need to consider where their season starts. If the NBA could start a little later, have your, start a month later or even this. Cut a few weeks off, start a month and a half later, and end up doing your finals in July instead of in June. Because if the NBA finals was at the end of June, beginning of July, now you've already rolled over to August. So middle of July, just after 4th of July, you're having your draft. And then your summer league is right away. So your summer league is still at the beginning of college football season, but people have time to get into college football and stuff. That way you have more relevant season. If you have most of the month of June, that's still season, because NFL is done in April, NCAA is done in January, and March, the beginning of April, is college basketball is done. So if you've got the rest of April, May, June, and part of July, that's 3.5 months that you're going to have more eyeballs on you than if you just
right. So, but and here's my question. So when are you starting the NBA season? Are you starting it at the beginning of December, or
I would be
in January?
No, it would be the NBA season would start in October instead of in September. It would start at the end of October. So almost November. So right around Halloween. And again,
I thought that's what it was though. I thought it did start pretty much at the end of October, the regular season. That is.
No, it starts in September, right when college football starts.
Well, that's preseason because regular season starts at the end of October because it did
well, then I would. Hold on, let me double check it again.
Yeah, because you had the Knicks played the Cavs on October 25th. That was the first game of the regular season right there. Preseason starts at the beginning of October.
So yeah, I would start it then. I would start at the beginning of December then. If it's already at the end of October, then I would start at the beginning of December.
Or just started at at the end of November going into December, because remember, the NBA itself pretty much has its profile day during December 25th and all that. So
yeah,
you don't really have any sport or any major sport playing on that date but the NBA. So then you carry that over. You have the All-Star weekend a little bit later, around March instead of February, and then carry over the season for another month.
Yeah, because look at it like this. Because because when you start it in October, because if it's September and October, you still have baseball, and that's going to be the biggest part of Major League Baseball, because that's the World Series. The World Series and the playoffs is in the end of September and October. So sometimes it bleeds into November. I know a couple of years it got close there. But still, if you're starting later, you're not. Now you've got one other sport you don't have to compete with. So at the end of the year, if you're starting at the end of, or if you're starting in November or December, what are you competing against? Conference championship games? Beginning of bowl season?
NFL.
In the NFL. So again, the beginning of your season, people aren't going to watch except for Christmas. So what people watch on Christmas Day is some shitty bowl game and the NBA. Lakers, preferably. Most likely. It's going to be a Lakers game. They play every Christmas. So that's really what it is. So if you're kicking off your season then like I said, March Madness is done at the beginning of April. So you got half of April, May, June. So you start at the end of June, and you play into July. So then your draft is the following week after the NBA Finals. So that's the thing, is like, I think they've done a good job of extending out their postseason to where I think the 2-2-1-1-1 like that I think it's so beneficial for them because because you're going to have 2 days in between those games because you're traveling. Sometimes 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my thing is, when would you fit in that All-Star weekend in between?
it would have to be,
unless if you do it during the conference championships for college basketball.
yeah, they could do that, which would be at the beginning of March, end of February. But
Yeah.
I think
First, yeah.
I think having it in April would be good. I mean, if you're just finishing March Madness and now you go into the NBA All-Star game, maybe that's like do it a month later, March, beginning of March. Yeah, like the beginning of March, because doing it in February, you're contending with the Super Bowl, the last week of the playoffs, the division championship,
Yeah,
the Super Bowl.
Because what they have there is, like, usually the Super Bowl is the weekend before, and then after that it's All-Star weekend.
Exactly. So, that's a lot going on then, and even then, people like in March pretty packed because March is the combine, so there's a lot of football. People still on football after the Super Bowl, because now they're looking at, all right, now we're into, because think about it, in January. I mean, in January they're already into pre-combine stuff. I mean, you have the Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl at the end of January. So, the middle and beginning of January, middle and end of January is the Shrine Bowl. You have the Armed Forces Bowl. I think it's the Armed Forces, the other Senior Bowl. There's 3 of them now. And then you have the Reese's Senior Bowl. So you have all 3 of those development senior games, prospect games that people will watch.
90 seconds.
Became more popular. And then you have the Super Bowl. So now people are thinking, because they just seen these guys play, everybody was releasing mock drafts like every other day. I mean, football still is not off their mind. They're not ready. I mean, people will watch basketball really on December, on Christmas, but they really don't pay attention to, after the NFL draft.
Seconds.
After the NFL draft, now you're starting to get more into basketball, because by the time you get that, you've got March Madness, which gets you back in the basketball mindset, and now they're preparing for the NBA playoffs. But so I'm saying, if you extend the end of the season, you'll get more eyeballs on the end of the season. I'm just saying, like 3 weeks or 4 weeks delay of starting. That's not even saying take away games, because I think they play too many games. 82 game season. That's ridiculous. I don't think they should go. I think 64 is a lot, but I think that would be better, a 64 game season rather than 82.
Yeah, rather than 82, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, looking at how much power the NBA Players Association has had over the past five years or so, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move to try to shorten the NBA season. We know that one of the big stories that happened over the course of this year was, a lot of these key players or star players sitting out certain games during the NBA regular season. And so what you do is, by shortening the season, you put more importance on each of these individual games and, put a lot more emphasis in a lot of these players actually playing the games. Because right now, you're giving all these players lots of money. We just, saw a couple of days ago James Harden get the biggest contract extension in NBA history. And I mean, how would fans like it if James Harden, ended up sitting out a couple of games, during like his 50th regular season game or something like that?
Yeah. See,
So I mean, my thing is like, if they propose something where you have a 64 game season, that might help out the league a little bit as far as like overall competition and having everybody go all in from game 1 to game 64, whatever it is. And I actually have another point on that too, as far as like the overall season is concerned. Like in the segment you had there with Rob Parks, you were talking about these rookies and how a lot of them come out too early and don't really have what it takes to go through the NBA season. I mean, a lot of these guys have to go through a big adjustment. A lot of these guys in college, they play 30 to 32 games, maximum, I'd say 40 to 45 if you win like a national championship. Like, say, for example, North Carolina won the national championship, right? I mean, they had like the regular season games, they travel out to Maui and all these other invitationals. Then they had the ACC tournament, and then after that, the NCAA tournament. So that's around 40 to 45 games right there. So now you got to go from 40 to 45 games to an 82-game season where half of them you got to be flying to another city. So it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment of sorts for them. So getting right into it, it's almost like for some reason, they're not kind of like grasping the whole thing about being out on the road every other day, 3 up to 4 days a week. They haven't really gotten acclimated to all of that. It's not like, college basketball where even if you have a road game or something like that, it's, one game, and then you have 2 days or 3 days off, and then you have another game, and then it's 3 days off, Because they have like a set schedule, like, for example, they play Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays or something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah. See, that's the thing is, though. So let me ask you this. Do you think it's more beneficial for them to stay in college or to jump to the pros?
To me, I feel like it's probably more beneficial to stay in college for me, because having to go just 1 or 2 years in college does not quite prepare you for the grind of an NBA season and the NBA schedule. Because, I mean, once you get drafted, say, for example, you got these top picks right now, right? You got Markelle Fultz, you got LeVar Ball, you got Jason Tatum, right? So they get picked in June after, being in the NCAAs till like March or April or whatever it is. Then after June, here we are July, and they're right in there, going to Las Vegas or whatever it is for the summer league. And then after summer league, you have, training camp preseason, and then in preseason and then into the season. So they're like almost right into it right off the bat. There really isn't like, many off days like they would have if they were in college, where after, April or whatever it is, you have classes in May. That's for those that attend class, but you didn't hear me say that. You have April and May, and then you have summer, and you would at least have like 1 or 2 months off before you have, summer workouts or whatever it is for college. It's not like you would have to really travel like they do for the pros.
And they get paid more in college too. They get better nutrition. They get more development. They actually have a coach that gives a shit about their development and what they're going to do at the next level. They're getting training and education for life after basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a better plan A, and it helps with plan B.
They're not, you're not under the control of, the college or something like that. It's more independent when you're, in NBA, because you're basically an independent contractor. So it's up to you if you want a nutritionist or a certain private nutritionist or whatever it is.
Exactly. Okay, so I have a friend of mine, and he posted on Facebook, and this is kind of a tangent, because it just popped up, and I hit the button, right? It's still saying, which NBA player do you look like? And it said, my friend looked like LeBron James. So I said, who does it think I look like? So I clicked it. And it gave me who it said I look like. And yeah. It said I look like Kyrie Irving. No, I don't. Not even if I could get as tan as possible would I look like Kyrie Irving.
They didn't even give you Andre Kirilenko or
like Tony Kukoc, John Paxton, something, Bill Lambier, I don't know, something. They said, yeah, you look like Kyrie. Never heard it. That's almost the worst comparison. So I was in the grocery store the other day, because people say I look like a lot of people. I don't know why, but they feel the need to tell me these things. And she's like, yeah. She started off with, yeah, you look like a friend of mine from New York. But really, though, you have a lot of these Brad Pitt features. And I'm thinking, what, my personality? Because I don't look like Brad Pitt at all. And she's like, yeah, I see it. There's a lot of it there. And I'm like, she's clearly fucking with me. And she wasn't. So I was like, oh, thanks. And then I just took my son somewhere else and let my wife pay, because I'm like, yeah, she's obviously is blind in both eyes and have cataracts on top of it, because I don't look like Brad Pitt at all. And she was, I get it, it's not even like, he looks like the average white guy, Mm-hmm. I would have been more like, if she's like, yeah, you kind of look like Joey from Friends. I'm like, I don't know, maybe, because he looks like the average to above average looking white guy, There's tons of guys that look basically just like him, and they're just normal, average looking white guys. So I go say, oh, yeah, I look like the average white guy. Got you. I give it, okay. But, no. I think I'm gonna do it again. It still said Kyrie. This is, I'm gonna send it to you, so you can do it.
Or one of those links about which NBA player are you?
Yeah. And say who you ball like. It says who you look like. So I sent it over to you.
Kyrie Irving.
God, click. Who does it say you look like? If it says Shane Battier, I'm gonna lose my shit. But let's see. Who is this?
I'll see what it ends up with. Nah, it ain't. Nah, it doesn't look. Nah, it's not good. Said the same thing.
It said you look like Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
Not even like how didn't it, like, looking at my picture, why couldn't it say like Kevin Love? You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you
that would
just,
have been even. Yeah, that would have been much closer right there.
you know, I don't know.
Not even that. Would have been funny if they posted that I look like JaVale McGee or something.
You know what's messed up? Kevin Love is so deprived on his own team that it won't even say I look like him. That's how far removed he is from the thought of the NBA.
Well, it don't look like the Cavs are really, feeling him on the roster all too much because they tried to see if he could be part of a three-way trade.
Try to move him again. Yeah. So it's the NBA is getting better for entertainment purposes. Whether people want to admit that or not.
Well, yeah. But I mean, that's what I was saying when I was pretty much getting into it, is that they're making the off season, almost be as excited as the regular season itself. They're kind of like taking over the attention of the sports fan, from baseball. I mean, this is it's supposed to be the summer season, so everybody's supposed to be gearing towards baseball. I mean, right now we got the All-Star game going on, and here we are, and like you've had over the past week or so, people talking about LeVar Ball and how the summer league games at the Thomas and Mack Center is sold out, with Lakers fans, and how the ESPN networks are covering the summer league games, and they're kind of like taking this summer over right now.
Yeah, it's looking pretty interesting. I just looking at like some of the summer league stats, which I can honestly say I have never done in my entire life. But these rosters, the funny thing is, like, the summer league, it's not even like any key players are in the summer league. It's basically all D-League players and rookies.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And not even all their
what it
D-League
pretty much
players.
is. What they do is, like, they pretty much have the guys that don't have the guaranteed contracts, or, the guys that are the ones that are from roster spot number 10 to number 15, who these teams can really keep on their roster so that they have a full roster once the NBA season starts. And so they kind of like evaluate these players and see if they're, good enough to be part of that NBA season and play for the team. So, I mean, to me, it kind of like shows like how competitive these players can get, especially when, they're trying to get a roster spot instead of, being back to the D-League. So, I mean, I'd be interested to see, like I was talking about with the Lakers games being on ESPN or whatever it is, like they were talking about the game between the Lakers and the Kings when they were saying like if Ball was going to be on there to go one-on-one with De'Aaron Fox, but the ESPN webcast of that game, people were watching it, and there were a lot of fans there for that Lakers-Kings game.
Yeah, now I'm starting to hear people saying, "Oh, he is afraid of going toe-to-toe with Fox and making him look bad." It's like, seriously.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's like, creating a story. I mean, and it's like something that people kind of like just gravitate to, whether it's just for, that 50 minutes or whatever it is. It's just still something that, is related with the NBA that says, hey, it's something to talk about. This is supposed to be the off season. We're not really supposed to be talking about anything NBA right now, and here they are, talking about, if, Ball is, ready to take on De'Aaron Fox, when I'm like, wait a minute, this is the Lakers and the Kings. They're in the same division, so the summer league game ain't really gonna mean, all too much right now. They're gonna be playing each other like 4 to 6 times this season alone. So what's a summer league game? And that's pretty much how De'Aaron Fox approached it.
They have something there, and I think, but the thing is, like, if they think Ball is what he's gonna be, then it doesn't make sense to even playing him any more summer league games. They're better off having guys that they have questions, reserves on, to see what they can get out of him. This is kind of the same way you would with like scrimmage games for the preseason NFL games. You're not gonna get your starting running back. He's probably gonna get like 2 carries, if that, because you don't want him to get hurt. It's your starting point guard. If they say it's a groin thing already, I mean, what is that going to do going into the season? It's not going to. There's no benefit into him playing more in summer stuff. It's not even D-League stuff. It's just summer league. And is it fun? Yeah. It's about as fun as the home run derby. And by the way, I did watch that last night. It was entertaining. I liked it. Aaron Judge is a mammoth of a human being,
I missed the first round. They say he showed up in the first round, 23 home runs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing is, the next 2 rounds, he only had to beat his competition by 1. So once you've beaten them by 1, you've beaten them. You go on to the next round. You just have to get more than them. They can't come back again, You've eliminated him. So he was just like, he literally was like, would bomb like the first 4 out easily, miss a couple, take a timeout he probably didn't need, and then bomb like another 6. It's like he had like 4 of them that were over 500 feet. Like, people went wild when they seen Cecil Fielder hit 1 500 feet. He hit 4. And it's not, and people need to step off and say, oh, he's juicing. The guy is 6'8", 280 pounds. That's a lot of weight and a lot of leverage put on a ball. He's going to be able to do it a lot easier than most people because he's bigger and stronger. It's just physics, And he can do it at like 60%, 70% and hit a home run. He doesn't have to smash the cover off the ball. Bellinger did. He had to use every bit of his strength to try to knock it out. And again, the other guys get tired, much more tired, at those first couple rounds because they're having to hit it as hard as they can to get it out. He doesn't have to because he's bigger and stronger. So less effort required. That's the thing. It's like, just like any sport, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're bigger, stronger, athletic people are willing to play in those sports, they're going to be better. Because if you're big and strong and athletic, that's such a rare quality, you know. And the funny thing is, as I was watching, I heard somebody say it on the radio today. I think it was Doug Gottlieb. They were saying it on Doug Gottlieb's show today. And he just had a very Derek Jeter-esque mentality about him in the interview. It's like, I feel he's very Derek Jeter-ish. I don't know if he's had the liberty to spend a good amount of time with him, but I felt those same sort of qualities come through in the interview. So, it'll be interesting. See how long he can last. Is this something that there's longevity there? But it'll be interesting to see. Again, this is why it's so important, though, also that kids play all sports. Don't get pinned down to just one sport, because it increases your chance of wearing down with repetitive motion in that sport. Play different sports because it doesn't make them more versatile. I mean, almost all the time. Like, the greatest basketball player in the history, Michael Jordan, baseball was his first love. He just happened to be better at basketball. I mean, he was playing high school baseball, and he couldn't even make the basketball team. But he ended up being the best basketball player of all time. So it's, you know, it's people think that it's the one thing, so they just want to focus on it. But I don't know. I think these kids just need to spend more time with other sports, with their education, you know, doing things that are going to be skills later in life and less on, I don't know, what's fun. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, you know, watching this All-Star game right now. I mean, you have all of these, you know, guys out here. It's kind of like a little contrast to me, though, with Aaron Judge. They had like this little thing where they were talking about, what was it? The commissioner was talking about Judge being the new face of Major League Baseball. You hear that? Yeah, he was saying like he would be surprised if Aaron Judge is new face of Major League Baseball. I mean, he hasn't even really gotten through one season yet, and I mean, you still have, you know, Bryce Harper out there, you know. Although I don't like Bryce Harper personally, though. He's kind of a little brat.
Yeah. Well, we're coming towards the end of the show here. Now, we talked a little bit about the Mayweather-McGregor fight. What did you think of the press conference?
I did not, for me, I did not expect for these basic cable networks to cover the press conference. Because, I mean, you gotta be a little bit smart about who you're dealing with in reference to the guys involved in this fight. Conor McGregor is, you know, one of the most popular guys in mixed martial arts. But part of his popularity comes from his outlandish comments in press conferences. And you know that I'm sure they knew that he had no filter in those press conferences. So why in the world would you try to have something like that on an ESPN network or a Fox Sports network or something that's on basic cable when that should have been something specifically for Showtime or anything, you know, that you wouldn't have to see live. You know what I mean? So For me, like that type of press conference, I wasn't really surprised about the content. I was just surprised that the cable networks covered it.
Mm-hmm.
How much is the FCC going to be coming to knock on the doors of Fox Sports and ESPN for all of this? Because I'll tell you one thing, after the press conference was over, they had SC6 with Michael Smith and Jamel Hill, and, they tried to, and they were interviewing Conor McGregor after that press conference, and I'm like, who came up with that idea? Half of the stuff that Conor McGregor said was muted out when they were talking to him.
They just trying to get their.
They're
just trying to get their.
So that should tell you right there. What type of thing that you're going to expect. So, McGregor said that he wasn't really, he isn't really used to something like this. Well, get ready because he pretty much just got on a plane to go from there to Toronto because they're going to be showing up in Toronto tomorrow. And then the day after they're going to be in Brooklyn. And then the day after they're going to be in London. So, hope he's ready to do that over and over and over again. This is not something that's a one-time thing. So, I'm just like, I'm just waiting on to see like what else they're gonna do as far as like filling this pay-per-view up. Because $100 for this pay-per-view in HD, I don't know, man.
That's the thing is they're saying $100 a pop, but now they're saying they're supposed to be getting 1.4 to 1.6 million buys, and it may rival the Pacquiao Mayweather numbers there. They're not going to get the same turnout money-wise. I think it's about half the price for the tickets. The average ticket price is about half. But I think that's right now. But if they fill this card out and put relevant people in this fight, then it makes sense to want to watch it or buy it or go to it for the casual fan.
Well, that would be it. But on the show that I had, I talked about one of those guys that would be part of that card, Gervonta Davis. IBS super featherweight champ. He was supposed to have an opponent, but it looks like that opponent won't be ready. So looks like they're trying to see if there's somebody else available for him. Maybe. Robert Easter or whatever it is. So, they just got to see if they're going to be able to solidify all of this. But, it's pretty much more than a month. So, they have, right now, they have Gervonta Davis as part of the event. They have Body Jack as part of the event. And, they're going to have, a young lady be part of this event too, having her professional debut. So, right now it's just a little bit of work to do in order to straighten out what's going to happen here with this full fight card.
Who would you like to see on this fight card? Who?
I want to see if Davis can actually pull off a fight between him and Tevin Farmer. That's been the talk. Like, those guys have been jawing at each other for the past couple of months or so. So I would like to see if they're going to be able to fight. And this thing here with Body Jack, I don't know about, because he's they say he's moved up to light heavyweight, and he's already like part of the WBC rankings. So I don't know who he's going to be ending up fighting here in this particular card. So I just think that's just going to be a filler. It's basically the main event, and that's it. This isn't where, how, Mayweather Pacquiao was, where you're able to see Lomachenko fight. You're able to see, a couple other guys fight in that particular fight card. Like Jesse Hart or whatever it is, or Leo Santa Cruz. You're not going to have that type of fight card there. So, I'm not sure like who else they're going to be able to put together at this short notice, unless if there's like a surprise that not really anybody really knows about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I look forward to seeing. I look forward to seeing how they put this together. I mean, I'm gonna watch it either way, but I want to see who they add on here. I think that they need to put more stars on stage here. They need to find ways to find, put on, if he's working with Heyman, get Wilder on the stage, put him in there. Make sure that this is his fight. That's going to be his fight in August. Like, why not build the card like that? Put it on people.
Why not have Deontay Wilder fight? Go ahead and get that fight with Ramon Severn over with on August 26th.
Exactly. They both should be ready. I mean, let's do that. I mean, then you can say he defended his title against Severn. He was successful, whatever, and then move on. But that's here. The crazy thing is Parker is now saying, he's like, I ain't even trying to hear Wilder. I want to fight Joshua. People aren't even trying to see Wilder. Because the thing is, like, him blowing up against Eddie Hearns, I think that just made him look dumb. It made him look bad. There's people like, he's just looking for some money grab. He's not really, I don't know. This guy I'm not going to be able to put a deal together with this guy. And again, I get, like, some people, they defend him saying he can't help the fact that the people he fought failed drug tests. He can't. I get that. That's out of his control. But when they failed the drug test, I mean, why aren't you along the way? Why aren't you looking for better people? Why haven't you been in conversations to get Ortiz in the ring? Why weren't you trying to get Parker off the jump? And Parker is low-hanging fruit, man. He's a guy that gets the belt and he's not going to keep it for long. So why are we? You're going after Parker because it seems like the easiest opportunity. Like, he should have been hollering at Anthony Joshua before he fought Klitschko, and he should have pressed Klitschko more because honestly, that might have been him beating Klitschko. So.
Yep.
Why isn't he?
I think the thing about it is that people kind of saw like how much money could have made, from fighting Anthony Joshua over there in the UK, and
I mean,
Wilder didn't take advantage of that.
You have Tyson Fury obviously going through his whole life crisis afterwards. Why not try to get Tyson Fury off the jump? He was able to show up to one of your fights and go nose to nose with you in the ring,
face to face,
and you still didn't make that happen. I don't want to say guy's ducking, but he makes it tough to say he's not ducking. Just saying, he makes it kind of tough.
Yeah. And you have like a lot of these other guys that are, top contenders in the WBC, and he's not even calling their names out. I find that very interesting.
It's just
like, you're not saying anything about Luis Ortiz. Come on.
It's I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. He's not trying to, he's not trying to fight nobody. He really isn't.
Nope. I mean, that's why I was saying, like, if he was really about his business, he would have gotten that fight against Severn over already.
No,
I mean, when was his fight against Washington was on February 25th, and here we are in July.
Yeah,
5 months, almost going to 5 months.
I feel like
almost going into 5 months in.
I feel like Kovalev Ward was after, and then rematch still before. I feel like that. I know it wasn't. I know that fight was in January, but still, it's like, I don't know. What about Keith Thurman, man? Is he gonna get back in the ring here pretty soon? I haven't heard a date or an opponent
not
yet.
This year. His elbow surgery is gonna have him out for the rest of the year. So you're not gonna see him fighting anybody anytime soon. In the meantime, Errol Spence said he's gonna be looking to see if he can get in a fight with Danny Garcia.
See, now people think Danny Garcia is a target.
Yeah, kind of, because I don't think they really see him faring, all too well in the welterweight division. So,
by the way, I got if he doesn't get knocked out in that fight, I got Danny Garcia winning against Errol Spence. He's a much better boxer.
You see, he's a much better boxer than Kell Brook.
Errol Spence.
He's a better boxer than Errol Spence? No.
Yeah.
Nah. If Danny Garcia was a better boxer than Errol Spence, then he would have fared a lot better against Keith Thurman. That fight against Keith Thurman was not as close as the judges scored it. I had that thing 8-4 Keith Thurman. 8 rounds to 4. Like, Keith Thurman could have made it, like, super easy if he was a little bit more active. I didn't really see Garcia being that active when he was pursuing Keith Thurman like that.
Because he cruised to, like, the last 4 rounds. That's why. I think he could have knocked Danny Garcia out. But he decided just to box.
Yeah, he could have.
But
He definitely could have. He just, wanted to, take things easy, take it slow, pace himself, and make sure that he, was able to get through that fight.
it did. It'll be, but I don't think anybody in the welterweight division can see Keith Thurman, though. I don't think anybody can. Not Earl Spence, nobody.
We'll see once he, gets back from elbow surgery, if that is going to affect him, from here on out.
If Danny Garcia loses to Errol Spence, he needs to go back down to 140. Because our suspicions that we've had of Danny Garcia was he's not a real welterweight.
Right. But my thing is that Danny Garcia does a lot of things good, but I don't know what he does that's great.
It's an outstanding point. I couldn't tell you.
So, I mean, I like to see, how we would fare if he does end up facing Errol Spence. But if he loses that fight against Errol Spence, and I don't know where else he could go as far as welterweight is concerned. I mean, you have the so-called barometer. I think Sean Porter is like the point where if you're above Sean Porter, you're one of the top fighters at welterweight, and if you're below Sean Porter, then you're pretty much in the middle of the pack as far as good welterweights are concerned. So Sean Porter, actually if Garcia doesn't fight Errol Spence, then he should have a rematch against Lamont Peterson for that interim belt.
Mm-hmm. Lamont,
at least then we'll know if he's
Lamont has an interim
able to
belt
stay there welterweight or not.
at 140 or 147.
147, because Peterson got an interim belt at 147 now.
Who donated that to him?
Who did what?
Who donated that to him?
Nah, he was able to return after almost 2 years out of the game. He fought and beat David Abnesian, by decision. David Abnesian actually I think he was the last guy to fight and beat Shane Mosley before Mosley retired.
Lamont Peterson beat Shane Mosley?
No, the guy who fought, David Abnesian, beat Shane Mosley.
What do you think of Shane Mosley Jr.?
Oh man, I saw that fight and I was like, here he is. He's a middleweight. He's tall, long, and he doesn't use. And it doesn't look like he uses his arms to keep people at bay. Like his opponent, outboxed him, out hustled him in that fight, and I'm like, come on, man, I ain't gonna let him do that. He won't have much of a career, fighting like that. Mm-mm. He kind of like fights. He kind of fights like his dad. Actually, he doesn't really move his head very well.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched that fight and I didn't see any aggression out of him. I didn't see any defense. Just, I don't know. He started landing some stuff later, but it was too late. It's just.
Yep.
Yeah, this fight's done. He's losing. There goes his record. And that's just the crazy thing. It's like guys get losses too early like that in their career. There's not a lot you can do. Like, he's going to have to go fight about 4 or 5 scrubs to stack the record back up to make it look like he's worth fighting again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At least that's what Wilder does. Anyways, I find my shots here and there.
Yep.
Anyways, that's gonna pretty much do it for the show tonight. Thank everybody for tuning in. For Rob Parks being on the show, James tuning in. You have a show this Sunday?
Yep, we'll be back live this Sunday.
And for those that didn't hear it, you had a special interview last night, right?
Yes, I did. had D Flowers there for promoting his product, Zestful Sweat Cream. So be sure to check the podcast for that interview.
It's awesome. And I'm going to work on some stuff for the website for this week. I've got a couple other podcasts, so keep on the lookout for the To The Half podcast and Drive the Lane podcast this week too. So I have a video cast of Drive the Lane over on the CHT on Sports Facebook page. You can check out. But that's all I got for tonight. Here on the show, we'll be back next week, same time, 8:30 Eastern time. We ended up going into about 45 minutes of overtime tonight, but that's all. I'm out.
Welcome to the cold, hard truth on sports. I apologize in advance if I am out of line here.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.